What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. In our first news, Tom Aspinall has shocked many fans with his latest comments. The heavyweight champion revealed that he would be willing to vacate his UFC title rather than fight one of his closest friends. Over the past year, many have predicted that Tom would hold on to the heavyweight crown for a long time. His incredible speed, devastating power, and dangerous submissions make him the favorite against almost anyone. At only 32 years old, Tom is still entering his prime, and most expected him to dominate the division for years to come. But during a recent appearance on a podcast, the champ made a surprising statement that caught a lot of attention. When asked if he would ever fight his friend or vacate the belt, Tom explained that his training partner, Ilia, recently joined the UFC and made a huge impact by defeating Topuria in his debut. That win already pushed Ilia into the top 10 of the heavyweight rankings. Tom said his friend could be only 2 or 3 wins away from a title shot, which could put them on a collision course. He admitted that if he had never touched UFC gold, he would have fought anyone, even a friend, because becoming champion was his dream. But now that he has achieved it, things are different. Tom made it clear he wouldn't fight Ilia under any circumstance. He said there are things more important than money and titles, and his friendship with Ilia is one of them. He explained that they've trained together for years and share a bond that goes far beyond competition. For Tom, vacating the belt would be the right choice to give his friend his moment to shine. Of course, for this scenario to even become reality, several things would need to happen first. Ilia still has to work his way up the rankings and win a few more fights. At number 9, he'll have to go through some of the most dangerous heavyweights in the world before a title shot becomes a real possibility. But Tom's comments give a clear picture of how much respect and loyalty he has for his close circle. During the same podcast, Tom also shared a humble moment, admitting that he doesn't believe he could have beaten prime Daniel Cormier. He explained that DC's style would be a nightmare for him. A short fighter constantly walking forward, changing levels, mixing punches with wrestling, and having endless cardio would cause major problems. Tom even said this directly to DC's face, calling him a beast and praising his prime run. Tom continues to prepare for his first title defense as the undisputed heavyweight king. He's set to face Cyril Gane at UFC 321 on October 25th. Recently, footage surfaced of the champ in camp, battering a heavy bag with thunderous shots, looking sharp and ready. Many fans believe Tom is entering the best form of his career. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Paddy has reacted to recent comments made by Ronda Rousey, and it's safe to say he was genuinely grateful for the praise. Over the past few years, Paddy has become one of the most talked about fighters in the UFC. His energy, confidence, and ability to entertain both inside and outside the cage have made him a major star, especially in the UK. Even before signing with the promotion, Paddy had built a massive following thanks to his outspoken personality, his signature pre-fight dance, and of course his unique hair. Add in his exciting fighting style, and it's no surprise why he quickly became a fan favorite. Now, Ronda Rousey has joined the list of big names recognizing his star power. The former UFC champion recently appeared at Comic-Con in New York, where she was asked about what makes certain fighters break into the mainstream. She explained that the ability to connect with fans outside of the fight game is what separates stars from the rest. She said that fighters need to understand they're not just athletes, they're entertainers. Ronda pointed to Paddy as someone who truly gets it. She explained that Paddy knows how to make people care, even those who don't regularly watch MMA, and that's a big reason why his popularity continues to rise. When those comments reached Paddy, he wasted no time responding. He posted on social media, thanking Ronda and saying her words meant a lot coming from a UFC legend. For Paddy, being recognized by someone like Ronda, who was once one of the biggest stars in the sport, is a major moment. She not only dominated during her time in the octagon, but also became a crossover superstar who helped push MMA into the mainstream. While Paddy may not yet be a household name in North America, that could change soon. There's growing talk about him possibly facing Ilia in what would be a massive fight. A matchup like that would put him in front of millions of viewers and potentially catapult him to the next level of stardom. Ronda's comments highlight something many in the MMA world already know. Paddy's charisma, willingness to entertain, and natural ability to connect with fans give him the kind of star power very few fighters possess. And with the right fights, he could soon find himself among the biggest names in the sport. Moving on to another news, Kamaru Usman still believes there's a path for him to become a double champion before he calls it a career. The former welterweight king made it clear that his dream scenario hasn't changed. Even after years of competing at the highest level, Kamaru's ambition remains sky high. He explained that the perfect way to end his legendary run would be to reclaim the welterweight title, move up to middleweight, capture a second belt, and then ride off into the sunset. In his words, the dream scenario is to win the welterweight title in his next fight, vacate it, then win the middleweight belt and retire immediately after. For Kamaru, it would be the ultimate boom moment, achieving everything left on his list in back-to-back fights. Kamaru's confidence comes from years of dominance and experience. He's already built a Hall of Fame resume with multiple title defenses at welterweight, and he believes one final run could cement his legacy as one of the greatest fighters to ever do it. He sees no need to stick around after reaching the pinnacle again. Once he holds 2 belts, he knows there's nothing left to chase. For Kamaru, it's about finishing strong, walking away on his own terms, and leaving behind a legacy that can't be topped. Moving on to another news, things got hilarious and a little intense when Islam playfully locked radio host Chris Fade in a rear naked choke during a live segment. As soon as Islam wrapped his arm around his neck, Chris started begging him not to put him to sleep. Everyone around was laughing and cheering while the moment quickly went viral. Islam tightened the position, and someone jokingly shouted, "Put him to sleep!" Chris immediately panicked, yelling, No, do not put me to sleep." He tried to shift his neck away from Islam's elbow as people gave him random instructions, telling him to move his chin and adjust his posture. The crowd around them kept yelling "fade away" while laughing at the situation. Someone then asked Islam to fix his neck because Chris had some old neck problems. Chris started gasping, asking for water, repeating, give me water, do not put me to sleep." His face turned red as the choke got a little tighter, though Islam clearly wasn't applying full pressure. Eventually, they eased up and everyone burst out laughing as Chris exhaled dramatically, still in shock but smiling. "He's not choking," someone joked, and Islam laughed it off. The whole playful moment showed just how dangerous that position can be in a real fight, but also how relaxed Islam is when applying world-class grappling techniques. It was lighthearted, funny, and a perfect example of Islam's calm but dominant style. Moving on to another news, Merab once again proved why his cardio and pace are in a league of their own. This time, he shocked everyone by going full beast mode on fight day itself. Just hours before stepping into the octagon to face Corey Sandhagen, Merab was sparring multiple partners for 5 hard rounds inside the cage. His teammate Khalil Roundtree was the one who revealed the story, explaining how Merab went absolutely crazy during the session, leaving everyone stunned. According to Khalil, Merab sparred at noon on the day of the fight. That's not just a light warm-up. It was a full, intense 5-round sparring session. The only unclear detail was whether this happened inside the official octagon or at his gym syndicate, but either way, it's an insane thing to do. Merab didn't just move around lightly. He spars hard, and he does it with small gloves, the same way he fights. This level of intensity hours before a big fight is something almost no other fighter would even attempt. Chael Sonnen reacted to the news, saying this isn't even the first time Merab has done something like this. According to Chael, the last time Merab pulled this off was backstage on fight night, warming up while the pay-per-view was already rolling. It's part of his routine. The bantamweight champ needs multiple training partners to keep up with him because nobody can go 5 hard rounds alone with that pace. They rotate in and out while he keeps going non-stop. That's how relentless Merab is. Following his win over Sandhagen, Merab extended his incredible UFC win streak to 14, moving up to 4th all-time behind Islam, Kamaru Usman, and Anderson Silva. His style has drawn plenty of comparisons to Khabib, with his pressure, pace, and ability to drown opponents in constant movement. Fans and analysts alike are calling him the bantamweight GOAT in the making. Davison Figueiredo even praised Merab's dominance, calling him one of the most unstoppable forces in the division. But he also added that Merab is still beatable. The key, in his opinion, is coming at him with aggression and absolute confidence. That, however, is much easier said than done. Most fighters simply can't match that level of pace. Now, with a huge December fight against Peter Yan expected next, Merab has once again shown why he's a different breed. Sparring 5 full rounds on fight day isn't just rare. It's something only a machine could do. It's this mindset and engine that make him one of the scariest fighters in the sport right now. Moving on to another news, Dana White makes a huge announcement. Earlier today, the UFC teased fans on social media by posting, Dana White will be live on Instagram later today to make an announcement. After the tweet, Dana White went live and officially dropped some massive news. He said, "Let's go to UFC 323 from T-Mobile Arena on December 6th. The main event, the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Merab, makes a quick turnaround to face the number 2 ranked Peter Yan. On the Monday after Merab's title defense at UFC 320, he came into the offices here and told us how important it was for him to break the record for the most title defenses in a single year. Merab is on a 14-fight win streak and is now looking to make an unprecedented 4th title defense in under a year. He already holds UFC records for the most takedowns ever, and a win at UFC 323 would move him into 2nd place for the longest win streak in UFC history. He's got the most bantamweight wins, the most bantamweight title wins, and continues to push the limits of greatness inside the octagon." Dana said, "This kid is on fire." Of course, Peter Yan is an absolute savage, a former champion, and this matchup promises to be a thrilling fight between 2 of the best in the division. Dana added, "You've got to respect the hell out of Merab for wanting to break this record. I love this. I love stuff like this." In the co-main event, Pantoja will defend his flyweight belt against the number 1 contender, Josh Van. Pantoja is currently riding an 8-fight win streak. He holds the record for the most finishes and most wins in the flyweight division. Meanwhile, Josh Van has taken the MMA world by storm. He's coming off a Fight of the Year contender against Brandon Royval. Bursting onto the scene with non-stop action, he's already looking to secure his 5th win in under a year. Josh holds the flyweight record for most strikes landed per minute and the best striking differential. Dana said, "Simply put, Josh Van is all action, all the time." This is another fun fight that promises fireworks. Also on that card, Jan Blachowicz will take on Bogdan Gusov in a high-stakes light heavyweight clash. And to make the night even more stacked, former 2-division champion Henry Cejudo will return to face rising contender Peyton Talbot in a big bantamweight showdown. Dana White closed by saying this card is going to be absolutely incredible, packed with elite talent and explosive matchups that fans won't want to miss. Moving on to another news, Dana White has officially broken his silence on the swirling rumors of a potential Alex Pereira versus John Jones super fight. Over the past few days, speculation went wild across social media after Pereira's dominant win over Magomed Ankalaev. The hype kicked up even more when Pereira openly set his sights on Jones, with some outlets even whispering about the UFC trying to make it happen for a massive White House event. Fans were quick to buy into the excitement, but Dana White just shut it all down with one blunt message. Dana went live on Instagram and called the entire rumor garbage. He made it clear that the UFC has not discussed any White House fight and won't even start planning anything until February. According to Dana, everything floating around right now is pure nonsense. His statement instantly calmed the firestorm online, but it didn't stop fighters and analysts from reacting to the possibility of the fight happening in the future. The reaction that caught the most attention came from Josh Thompson, who broke down how this fight could realistically happen if it ever does. He said that if Jones and Pereira face each other, it would likely take place at light heavyweight, with Jones dropping back down to 205 pounds to chase the belt. That idea has fans buzzing because while many people want Pereira to defend his title first at 205, ideally against Carlos Ulberg, a potential showdown with Jones for the light heavyweight title would be absolutely massive. Thompson explained, "I honestly believe that if they do fight, it will probably be at 205 for the 205-pound title. People keep talking about the heavyweight division, and look, I'm fine if they want to fight at heavyweight and not cut weight, but they're not fighting for the title there." He emphasized how big of a moment it would be to see Jones, widely considered the greatest light heavyweight of all time, return to the division to face the man currently sitting on the throne. He added that if Pereira were to beat Jones, it would cement his legacy forever. John Jones, the GOAT at 205, the greatest 205-pounder to ever do it, going up against Alex Pereira, the current 205-pound champ. If Pereira beats him, he's now the GOAT. He's got 2 belts in 2 different weight classes, and he beat the guy that everyone thought was untouchable. Even though Dana has dismissed the immediate rumors, the mere idea of Pereira versus Jones has already captured the imagination of fans and fighters alike. A clash between the most dominant light heavyweight in history and the most explosive striker in the division today would be a dream matchup. For now, though, it remains nothing more than a possibility down the road. Moving on to another news, Luke Rockhold has completely flipped his opinion on Alex Pereira, going from openly doubting him to calling him one of the greatest of all time. Not too long ago, Luke wasn't convinced that Alex was a legitimate MMA world beater. He was one of many who believed Alex's lack of a ground game would eventually catch up to him. But after Alex began his second reign as the UFC's light heavyweight champion, Luke's tone has completely changed. At UFC 320 earlier this month, Alex avenged his previous loss to Moem in stunning fashion. He didn't just win, he dismantled him with strikes in a jaw-dropping performance. Shortly after, TMZ caught up with Luke on the street to get his thoughts on what he had just seen. And for the first time, Luke had nothing but praise for Alex. He said, "I used to hate on Alex Pereira, but he's a gangster. It's all about confidence. It's all about balls. He has it. I can't hate on him anymore. He's one of the GOATs. No more hate, Alex. God bless. You're a gangster." He's one of the best champs of all time. Honestly, it's impressive. Luke admitted that Alex's mindset is what sets him apart. Even though his grappling isn't elite, his fearless attitude, calmness under pressure, and his ability to keep winning at the highest level have earned Luke's respect. And he's likely not the only one who's changed their mind. Many people were skeptical when Alex first made his transition from kickboxing to MMA. They doubted he could handle the wrestlers and grapplers in the UFC, but time and time again he's proved them wrong. Back in 2022, Luke was one of those critics. After Alex knocked out Sean Strickland, Luke said that while the story was intriguing, Alex would get mauled by many fighters in the division. He didn't believe Alex had the skill set to compete with top-level MMA talent. But that was before Alex went on an incredible run, beating some of the best in the world, taking the middleweight title, and then becoming a two-division UFC champion. Even after Alex defeated Israel for the third time and became champion, plenty of people still believed he hadn't truly been tested. But with every fight, Alex keeps silencing critics and building a legacy that's hard to ignore. For Luke, what was once doubt has turned into respect. What was once hate has turned into admiration. Today, he openly calls Alex one of the greatest champions of all time.